Kramer, what's happening, Kramer Dog?
All right, it's here. The culmination of all my excitement about the Giants, Sean. I know you're excited.
We're live. Let's do this. We're here at the Circuit doing the pregame show, answering your questions, counting you down to NFL Week 1 kickoff. Hopefully you got in our $100,000 shot at $100,000. Kramer, I'm assuming at least a couple people did have the Bucks the Cowboys and the over. Thankfully, Tampa Bay survived in our Circuit Survivor.
We definitely have some people left, but I think it washed out a lot of the field. I think a lot of people lost their $100,000 on the first day, like we almost lost our Survivor pick on the first day, Sean. So
very D-Gens only of us, and again, streaming live on YouTube. Come in the chat, get involved. Let's start taking some questions. Fantasy stuff. Zach Moss, he's a late inactive, Ryan. What are your thoughts? What are you doing fantasy-wise?
I don't think it changes anything. I mean, sure, you play Singletary if you have him. Maybe you're excited. It's a tough matchup. I think shocking, though, like Moss wasn't really on the radar. Trey Sermon is a healthy scratch. Definitely not on my radar. I'm obviously a big Trey Sermon fan, so it doesn't make me feel good to see him getting scratched healthy. But if you got Mostert, you love the upside now. And if you grab that, I think, what do we talk about? Over 13, somewhere in the 12 to 14 range for carries. Like, that's going to smash now, I would think, against a Detroit team that should give up some points. So, yeah, what are we talking about, Sean?
What are your locks, Ryan? Everyone wants to always know what the locks are.
Well, do you want to just start with that? Because it's Tennessee. This line should be a touchdown, period. Fade Kyler, fade Cliff Kitchens. Let's go. Ryan Tannehill, double stack in fantasy.
Yeah,
I saw the flow chart. Flow
charts on it.
Sports gambling podcast.
I was on Tannehill, AJ Brown, Julio, coming back with D Hop in the DraftKings Millie Maker lineup because I just don't think this Arizona secondary has anything. I mean, they were counting on good minutes from Malcolm Butler. He was supposed to be the starter, and then he retires. Like, you're starting a guy who hasn't played since 2018 as your starting cornerback against the Lions passing offense, which is really good. I mean, I just don't see it on a neutral field. Now that I think it's 2.5 a lot of places, it just makes no sense to me on a neutral field. I mean, they're at least a half point better. Like, it should be 3.5, 4 points. The line feels way off.
What else you liking, Sean?
What about this Vikings game at -2.5? It feels scary. It feels like a trap. I know they've had some late. I think they're not going to be with one of their tackles. That could be big, but I can't talk myself into the Bengals. There's some home dogs that are going to hit. Maybe it's the Bengals. I just don't see it.
Every week one, there's an exceptionally gross team that wins.
Yes.
And there's an exceptionally unpublic team that wins. I think the gross team is going to be Houston, so I think the unpopular team is going to – I mean, I just worry that Kirk Cousins, he's been framing up plexiglass cubes, figuring out how to construct a bigger quarterback room. A little
distracted.
Not in the playbook. I know you're anti-Burrow early. That one just jumps to me as the one that I'm either staying away from or taking the home dog.
Yeah, it's one of the few games I probably won't be betting. In the chat, they're wanting to know 49ers lock. I don't know. I'm on Lions. I gave out Lions as my dog. Again, maybe I'm getting a little too cute, but to me, it's just the ultimate get-up spot for this Lions team. Everyone says they suck. Dan Campbell seems like a guy that can get a good pep talk out of his guys. I mean, they're a 7.5-point home dog. You want to talk about a game that's going to ruin a lot of people's Survivor contests? San Francisco has that ability. I think in the Circuit Survivor, they're the number 1 selection, right?
Yeah.
So I would not be locking up the 49ers.
Right? I mean, obviously, we'll be rooting for the Detroit out of did you actually get down on that money line?
Yes,
of course you did, Sean.
I'm holding a ticket. I'm holding many tickets.
Oh, I brought your tickets. I'm jealous.
Well, there's a couple winners in here that didn't have time to cash yet. That's how busy of a sports gambler I am. Was on an insane heater. Check out @SeanTGreen on Twitter. I tweeted out my sheet. But, man, when that BYU money line parlayed with Iowa money line hit at 8-1, and I know it didn't hit either legs of the parlay, so it's going to sound weird bragging about a parlay that went 0-2. A money line parlay at 25-1, man, that sweat was worth it.
I mean, there's nothing better than Sean touting after a day of winning. never lost before.
I was touting the losing parlay. That's the kind of stuff you'll see here on the Sports Gambling Podcast.
Well, of course, it's like a neg to yourself. All right, should we run through the games real quick?
Sure. The 49ers are 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 games as favorites, and they go into Detroit laying 9 points. Again, coming back to this game, I just don't see the 49ers. To me, it's just that they're not justifiable as a 7.5-point road favorite. But, Kyle Shanahan, the god, one of the smartest minds in football, he doesn't believe in Jimmy G to the point that they moved up to draft Trey Lance. He's telling you Jimmy G isn't the guy. If you had a quarterback that could lay 7.5 points on the road, why are you trading up to get a quarterback at 3? Why? Something isn't right in San Francisco. Something smells right.
You're not worried about the Jimmy G must-win spot, trying to save his job? Yeah, look, that's the angle. The angle is Jimmy G should never lay 7.5 points, period.
Yeah.
Period.
That's all the angle you need.
All right, should we go through?
Sure.
Where do you want to start? Let's go Panthers-Jets. Panthers are now 3.5, Sean.
Yep.
Saw this number a little higher earlier in the week. 44.5 is the total. We're still on the Panthers.
Still on the no, I'm on the Jets. I'm on the Jets. I've been on the Jets. Yep. I think the smart play is the Jets. When we picked it for the show, how high was it? It was like 5.5.
We were on the Jets at 4.5, and the real angle was simply that's a lot of points. It's a fade.
Yes.
Right?
And again, coming back to the quarterback, Sam Darnold. We all watched Sam Darnold, and you're saying Sam Darnold out of nowhere is now laying 5-6 points.
Well, at 3.5, it's a little trickier. But what I would say. I would say this was more of a play on a rookie head coach that I think we like, who's probably not getting as much respect.
Yep.
Now at 3.5, I don't know if I'm looking to get involved in this game.
As far as games I bet late, this I did not touch, and I didn't touch the Minnesota-Cincinnati game either because I like Minnesota at -2.5. It just smells too much. I'm going to save my non-conference road favorite for the Seattle Seahawks going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz, who has really had no preseason, no training camp. He's cursed. The Carson curse is coming to Indianapolis. He broke his foot. He somehow gave a broken foot to Quentin Nelson. Quentin Nelson dealing with a severe back injury. He's supposedly going to play. He was also on the COVID list. Now their left tackle situation. What the hell's going on with it? Supposedly it's going to be Fisher, a guy that the offensive line needy Kansas City Chiefs felt completely fine getting rid of, a guy they drafted. He's coming off a torn Achilles. They're rushing him back for week 1, and he's dealing with COVID as well. I mean, he's just off the COVID list. I can't imagine he's going to have a dominating performance. Jamal Adams will get a turnover, will get a defensive touchdown.
Oh, I like this prediction.
Seattle will get a defensive touchdown. And Carson Wentz.
So we're not worried about.
He's right up there with Danny Dimes.
We're not worried about the trap.
Turnovers.
We're not worried about the trap at all.
Fuck your trap. Seattle's getting it. The Hawks don't get caught in trap.
I got a massive bet on this game. I love the Seahawks. I just don't get it. I don't get it because this Colts team is going. I don't see them coming out hot here. I don't see them keeping up with the Russ and the hot cooking offense there. Look,
the Shane Waldron offense, I am
heavily
excited
heavily invested in the offense. So honestly,
Xavier Rhodes for the Colts, he's out. At least he's dealing with the calf injury.
I would take some props on the Seahawks to maybe get some receiving props here. I would even maybe Lockett is the guy I would look at probably in this spot. But I just think this is going to be a game that they get out to a fast start. Indy is not equipped to come from behind, and it could get into something messy. And teaser alert to the future of this show in my first half parlay, but we will be talking about that game again. All right, next up, what do we got next on the board here, Sean? Pittsburgh Buffalo.
Yep, I got it at I got Steelers at 7. Again, I think this Steelers team is a good team. They got T.J. Watt. If T.J. Watt didn't play, I didn't feel as comfortable taking the 7 points. A lot of pressure for Buffalo. Again, we're high on Buffalo overall. I have them winning the Super Bowl. I just think 7 points at home against a Steelers team.
What about 6.5?
6.5, I'm still taking it. But I think you can get the half at – I would take the +7 -125. And I think you can get that because I know I just got it. So it's possible.
The narrative here is that Buffalo's still going to pass a million times, and Pittsburgh had a very ferocious Big Ben and his elbow addiction off season, and But that defense carried them, and I don't expect them to take a step back. If anything, they got players back. T.J. Watt's going to be out there. Got the
Big
deal
Ben looked
done.
healthy. Slim Ben.
So, and it's a revenge spot. The Bills beat this Steelers team, so we're both on the Steelers. I would still advise my clients taking the money line. You can still get plus 250s out there. Sean, next up, well, we kind of already touched on the Niners, Lions, but
yeah,
Jags, Texans, gross. Texans plus 3.5. Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer, first game, laying 3.5 points. No way I'm taking it, are you?
It's a historic event. You're watching a historic spread. Anytime there's a spread is involved in history, you got to fade the idea of, Trevor Lawrence coming in, again, limited preseason, and going in as a road favorite. Tyrod Taylor is a guy, he might not be sexy, he might not be in your fantasy team. His prop bet for passing yards is 205 yards, comically low. Take the over on that. Tyrod Taylor's not going to light the world on fire, but he's a guy that wins games, 24-21-1 as a starter. He's a guy that's just going to win games. It's going to be an ugly game. It's going to be a close game. 3.5 points is just, it makes no sense. It's a division game. This is the Houston Texans Super Bowl, week 1. If you ever were to have hope or were on board for the Houston Texans, now is the game.
Yeah, and honestly, the last time that a team came into a game, rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, favored on the road, Byron Leftwich, Jack Del Rio, 2003, Jacksonville Jaguars.
And that was their first start, right?
That was their first start, yeah. So,
that is crazy. You guys, questions, fantasy, who to start, who to sit, bets, you're on the fence, feel free to throw them in the chat. We're here to serve you, the fans, the D-Gens only.
All right.
Kramer, your Giants. Talk me into why I'm crazy for laying the points with Denver.
I mean, if you want to lay 3 points, 2.5 points with Teddy Bridgewater and Vic Fangio on the road, best of luck.
Yes, please.
Best
Teddy
of luck.
Bridgewater, very good
Best
against
of luck.
the spread. I'm just fading bad offensive lines. I'm fading the Miami Dolphins offensive line. Very bad coming into the season. You throw in the fact that their left tackle is on the COVID list, and you got a New England Patriots team that's going to be fired up at home. Mac Jones is going to have a solid game. They're going to make an easy game for him. They got 2 really good running backs, good line play. It's going to be pitch and catch with Mac Jones and Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith, I think, is the guy quietly that I think could have a massive fantasy day.
I mean, I think we're going to see the tight ends involved in the game plan. We've bet people got really high on Jacoby Myers late because of the way he runs the routes, and I really do. We saw Jonnu Smith get handoffs. Like, he's a guy that's going to be heavily involved in the offense. They went out and signed 2 tight ends for a reason. I mean, we're New England's another one of my big bets. I got it at 3. It's 3.5 now. I'd still lay it, honestly.
Yeah,
it scares me a little bit because the rookie quarterback angle, but Tua on the road against this Belichick reloaded defense feels like a spot you want to take.
Yeah.
What about did we miss any? We didn't talk Chargers football team, did we?
Let's go.
You know what this number is right now, Sean?
What is it? When we picked
minus 2.5 for the football team. Shocking, right? We told you no way the Chargers should be a favorite. We were not comfortable laying this as a favorite for the rookie head coach on the road with Justin Herbert. Austin Eckler will be in, but now this number's moved to Washington minus 2.5, Sean. We're on Washington plus 1.
Yep.
Are we still on Washington plus 2.5 or minus 2.5?
Yeah, I mean, I think the spread should have been like Washington minus 3. I mean, 2 very even teams. Why would you, and Eckler's dealing with this late hamstring thing, which came out after we taped our show.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nervous if you have Eckler, and I have him in my DFS lineups. I can't adjust them because we're in Las Vegas and you can't play DFS. So knock on wood that Eckler comes through, but I still like Washington minus 2.5. I mean, the spread should be 3. It should, and then that's why I really liked him as a 1 point, 2 point even. I think it never got up to 3, but there were times it was 1.5 point dog, and the line's off by 4 points there. You got to hop on something like that. Kramer, we have our first fantasy football question of the season. Here we go. Danny Locks, pick one for flex spot. Marvin Jones, Claypool, Landry, or Melvin Gordon. Give me Chase
either probably Claypool or Landry to me. I got to see what this Jags offense is going to look like before I start deploying the receivers. So I would go Claypool and then Landry and then Marvin Jones. You're not starting Melvin Gordon today. Not against that Giants defense, baby.
No, I think Javonte Williams is a fun start if you're in a full-point PPR. I think Bridgewater could get him a lot of easy stuff. If Judy struggles with if Bradbury does a good job of containing Judy, I think Javonte Williams getting involved in the pass-catching role, and maybe a little cute. Maybe it's not something you want to try in a managed league if you're looking for a higher floor, Ryan. But in DFS, I think he's definitely worth it, especially at the rock bottom price of $4,000. All right, we got another one here. Henderson, Damian Harris, Callaway, or Tyson Williams.
It's hard to not want to play Taysom Williams. It does seem like he's going to get the bulk of the work, at least for week one. So if this is a week one question, that might Henderson also, like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm running to go play the New Orleans receivers yet. Are you playing Callaway?
I like Callaway. I think he's fun. Again, if it's full point PPR, maybe go Callaway. But I like Damian Harris. I mean, part of the reason why I like the Patriots handicap is, one, their offensive line, and two, Miami's road rushing defense is bottom of the league. So I'm all over Damian Harris. All right.
I think we hit all the early games. I mean, we kind of touched on Tennessee, Arizona. I mean, it's back to 2.5, Sean. Smash.
Yep.
What am I missing? All right, let's.
All over that.
Do we talk about Eagles, Falcons?
I mean, what's there to talk about? Jalen Hurts. Let's fucking go, baby. All over the Eagles today again, and it comes back to the line play. Very good offensive line, very good defensive line. If you can control the line of scrimmage, you can win games in the NFL. Nick Sirianni. Kramer, they're calling it one of the most moving pregame speeches of all time. I mean, you can bust his chops, but Nick Sirianni is the guy that has control of the locker room right now. Obviously, if they start losing games, we'll see what happens. But right now, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni.
It's the beginning of the year. Of course he has control of the locker room.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I could say that about Urban Meyer. Or shit's coming out about Urban Meyer that players are already, like, wearing thin with him.
You're putting the bar pretty low. And as we get closer to kickoff, you can tell they're ramping up the club atmosphere here. Beautiful stadium swim.
Got a guy in the background with rocking some sweet USA shorts.
Yep.
We're definitely pro USA.
All right, Sean, let's talk about real quick, I'm on the Falcons. I think we're going to see the Eagles secondary get abused. Yes. I worry for them. I worry for Sean. I worry for the simple systems there in Philly. Although I don't know, like, I'm laying the 3.5 because I'm laying it, but I don't know if that's a strong play.
We got some totals question. Adrian Kennedy, a.k.a. Kennedy Sports, checking in, welcoming us to Vegas. Also saying the book's going to need the Cards Titans under pretty bad at 53.5.
All right.
I feel like I know sharp people even that were on this over. Again, not a totals guy, but gun to my head, I would have gone over because I do think it's going to be a bit of a scoring fest. We'll see. I do think Arizona, if any of the two teams, I think they could struggle to put up points. I'll say this, though. If you can get, and we were talking about this last night at dinner, and shout out to Terrell, Moonoff, Boston Capper, Go Bearcats, all hanging out. Did a nice little Vegas dinner last night. Tennessee team total at 26. I mean, anything under 27, what am I missing?
Well, it sounds like what we're missing is that the books are going to need the under pretty badly, which means maybe we're missing the narrative here.
Jake Paquin checking in, Ryan. Steelers team total over 20.5.
I like that.
I mean, I think the Bills defense is solid, but 21 for this Steelers offense, which has a shit ton of weapons, is very reasonable.
Agreed.
And they can go multiple receiver sets. I think the receivers are still going to be a little tough for the Bills to handle. Giants Broncos over 41. Again, I think the Broncos or the Giants are going to struggle to move the ball with the offensive line, but that total is pretty low. What are you doing, Kramer? Over under 41?
I think you have to play the under. I think both of these teams project to be, elite, at least fringe elite, if not elite defenses. And I think specifically, if both teams struggle to run the ball, I don't expect the offenses to be shredding through the air. So it does feel like the clock will be running. Look, I'm high on my Giants. I think the defense is going to shock some people. No one is looking at the Giants to be an elite Barkley got hurt. Barkley's not going to be healthy. 11 months ago, he got surgery. Derek King, 9 months. He's running around. Joe Burrow, 9 months. He's running around. Saquon Barkley has alien DNA from deep within the universe. He's playing today. He's going to have a game.
Did Derek King cover against App State? No, App State, +9.
All rise.
Easy money.
Danny Dimes starts shoving his giant Duke private school dick down everyone's throat. Let's go, baby. I apologize for my language. I'm excited.
I mean, come on, a pro Daniel Jones rant. You only see this on the Sports Gambling Podcast. Smash that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter @Gambling Podcast. We'll be doing live tweets and Sports Gambling Podcast on Instagram. IG's popping off. Kramer.
Let's get out of here real quick. Rapid fire. Chiefs, Browns. 4.5. It's down to 4.5.
Wow, that's easy.
It's easy money on the Chiefs. Packers,
Patrick
Saints.
Mahomes, 23-12 against the spread if the spread is less than double digits.
Patrick Mahomes never not covered on opening day also.
Andy Reid, 6-2 ATS opening day.
Packers, Saints. Packers down to 3.5. Massive distraction. I don't know how you take the Saints here. I understand the gameplay angle, but they're distracted. I think they went to an area that's going to have a lot of Packers fans in the stands.
Yeah,
and
I picked these Saints, but I don't love it. To me, the angle for the Saints is just if there's anyone that can play in the Florida Heat, it's Jameis Winston.
Sunday Night Football, Bears, Rams.
I'm all over the Bears, and as I see that the Rams are one of the most bet games on the board, that one of the most picked games in the Super Contest, Rams one of the most picked teams in the Survivor Contest, it is setting up for a awesome comeback for the books late night with a Bears money line play. I think is what I'm going to have to get down on as we get closer to kick.
All right, Sean. Do we cover every game?
We cover every game.
I'd like to give out a first half money line parlay.
Let's go.
If possible.
Yes.
Give me Seattle money line. Give me Washington football team money line. Give me Tennessee Titans money line. Give me Houston Texans money line, and give me the Pittsburgh Steelers plus the 3.5. Let's fucking go.
What does that pay, Ryan?
About 20-1.
All right. You heard it here first. Kramer's lead pipe lock first half can't lose parlay. CJ saying, how is San Francisco and Rams parlay not hitting? Don't get cute, Sean. Money line. Hey, this is the NFL. And in the words of the great Chris Berman, that's why they play the games. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to go get drunk and watch all these games. For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Hey, big thanks to Colby for holding the camera.
Kramer, let it ride.